Okay, I know I might be a little bit late to this video, as the game came out a couple weeks ago, but honestly, I am loving this game and I just wanted to get as much of it in as I could, and really, I had no plans of even getting the System Shock remake. I saw some stuff about it and it was really cool, but it wasn't until a few days ago I saw some footage on it and I was like, this looks amazing, I really want to try this out. So before I did a bunch of research on the original System Shock, learned a bunch of stuff I had no clue about, which I will share here. And honestly, I had a blast. I'm having a blast playing this game. I thought there's no way I'm not making a video about this game. I'm loving it. It's a great game. It's a horror game and it just came out. It is everything I would want in a game to make a video about. So you know what? Let's just get this intro out of the way. Today, we're going to be talking about System Shock, the System Shock remake. We're going to be talking about its connection to some other big games, primarily Bioshock. That's like the big reason I was actually interested into getting into this game. So we'll talk about that, and I'll just tell you my thoughts on the game, what they did really well in the remake, and why I think that this is what games should be in 2023. And it's not even a new game by technicality. So, you know what? This intro is droning on long enough. Let's get it right out of the way, and let's just get right into this video. Right into System Shock. So, I'll just start off with, as I said, I had no plans in playing the System Shock remake, and the biggest reason for that is I knew what System Shock was, but being a 22-year-old, System Shock, the original, being released in 1994 is a little bit before my time, and honestly, I never really thought about even playing it. I mean, I've seen the name System Shock. I do have the original System Shock games because GOG gave them to me for free one time, so I could go back and play them, but really, I knew it was one of those Doom, Wolfenstein, boomer shooter kind of games, and I'm not really into those. I've said before, I've never played the Doom games. I've just recently started playing Doom 3, which I do love, but those kind of games, I just never had an interest in playing until recently, and with playing Doom 3, that might be why I've been absolutely loving the System Shock remake, because it is quite similar to Doom 3, and I'll talk about that more, but I've just never really knew anything about System Shock, so when I heard that the remake was coming out, I thought, cool, but I'm not interested, and as I said, I saw the footage, and that is what got me interested. Now, to the people who don't know what System Shock is, let me explain that real quick. System Shock was a game, as I said, released way back in 1994. To some of you, that might not be way back, but for me, that is years before I was even born. But back in 1994, it was developed by a company called Looking Glass Technologies and published by Origin Systems, and it was this game with this really advanced cyberpunk synthwave kind of storyline to it. As the story goes, so if you don't want spoilers, there is gonna be spoilers. I mean, this game's story is 2 decades old, so I'm not really spoiling that much. So the game starts in 2072, and you are just this nobody hacker who is trying to hack into this big space station called the Citadel Station or something, and you're trying to get access files about it. And so you actually get caught by Tri-Optimum, which is the company who owns the space station, and they kidnap you pretty much, they arrest you, but you actually end up waking up in one of their office, and they tell you, look, we're willing to drop the charges if you hack into the Citadel station and you get us some stuff, because they were trying to steal some mutagenic virus and they wanted you to help them do it, even though they worked for Tri-Optimum, the company that owns the space station, and they said, look, if you help us with this, we will drop all charges. And you accept. Next thing you know, you end up hacking Shodan, which is the AI that controls the whole ship. You end up hacking it and you remove its ethical constraints and you give the AI over to the people who kidnapped you. Next, you wake up 6 months later in this healing coma, and that's where you begin. You're on the ship, and the ship has actually been taken over by Shodan, that AI that you took away its ethical constraints. And now it is programming all the robots, all the crew, everything into hostility, and with that mutagenic virus, all the crew is now mutated, cyborgs, or just murdered. So now you have to deal with all of the robots hacked by Shodan, all of the people who have been mutated by the virus, and then also the cyborgs who are kind of mutated and being hacked by Shodan. And then you have to deal with Shodan in general. So it's just a bunch of stuff going on, and you start at the second to lowest level, and it's kind of like Bioshock, or kind of like those horror games where you have to work your way to figuring out what happened. it's kind of your fault all of this happened. So now you have to figure out what you did wrong, and you have to go back and backtrack and fix everything. And you have to deal with Shodan, as I said, and she'll be talking to you, and you have to find like voice memos. And it is just this really interesting story that is really sci-fi, and you could tell it came out in the 90s and they were writing it in the late 80s. I like to say this game is the 80s incarnate, because really it just screams with all the neon colors popping out, all the music that's really techno and synth wavy, and I love that aesthetic. That's one of my favorite aesthetics. Synth wave, synth music, you know, retro, all of that is so my thing, if that makes sense. And so when you see it in this game, it is just absolutely amazing. And honestly, that's not where the story ends. I just think if you want to know more about it, the remake is a great way to learn the story. You don't have to play the old game and deal with old mechanics anymore. So I'm gonna stop there on the story, and I just suggest you guys either watch some videos on it or you pick up a copy of it for yourself. It's not even a full price game, which makes it so much better. For a $40 game to be better than all of the $70 games coming out today, that is amazing. I mean, it's sad, but it's amazing in this game's own right. So if you had any speculation like I did to getting this game, even if you don't know what the original System Shock is, I say go get this game. Now, this video is not even over yet. I'm going to get into what I like about the game and what I think they did really well on transferring from the original during the remake. So let's just get right into what I enjoyed. Other than everything, this game has so much to enjoy about it. It's a horror game. First off, let's just start with that. It is a horror game that puts you into some situations where it's dark and you have to find lights. And for the first little while, you don't have a flashlight. So you'll sometimes be going around dark, grimy corridors that only are lit by an emergency red light. So there is a good horror aesthetic to it. And I will say that's one thing that they brought over super well in the remake is the lighting and the environment with the fog, and there might not even be fog. It's just really the environment, lighting, everything feels so realistic. It looks like when you see people put RTX mods on Doom 3, I brought up Doom 3 and how it seems really similar, and it just looks fantastic while also keeping that retro pixelated look. I don't know how to explain it, but if you've played like Valheim, where everything is kind of pixelated, but then they combine it with some amazing lighting, which just makes the game look fantastic. And at first, you don't even notice that it's really pixely and everything is made by squares when you look really deep into it. That's one thing they brought over well, and that's one thing that I really enjoyed was the graphics are amazing, and they were still able to keep it true to that old 1994 aesthetic, and I just give them props for that. Another thing they transferred over really well was the combat. It feels so smooth. It feels like playing Doom or like playing Wolfenstein, where it's so fast-paced, run and gun. You gotta go, shoot when you're in the combat. But at the same time, this game was able to give you these slower parts where you have to take your time and move through because you don't know if something's going to jump out from that corner. And I know I'm going to keep saying this, but that's where it also draws into that Doom 3. Doom 3 was that Doom game where it added a little bit different gameplay into it rather than just run, gun, shoot, run, gun, shoot. And the newer Doom games kind of returned to that boomer shooter action formula, but System Shock was able to give you that, but also give you those slower moments where it feels slower and might be smarter to conserve your ammo, or it might be smarter to look around your corners. In this game, also, there is a lean mechanic, and I didn't even notice until probably 2 hours into playing this game. I clicked the wrong button, and I was like, wait, I lean? You can lean? I thought that was really funny, but in my opinion, that's another thing that they did really well in transferring this game over and making it new. And in the newer version, it feels so good. All of the guns that you can get are really punchy and they just feel good to use. They feel strong. I don't know how to explain it. Some games, the guns feel terrible, and in some games, the guns feel good. And in this game, they made the guns feel really good. And it also was nice to have it not feel like a mission or chore to always have to focus on your inventory and all of that. And going into the inventory, I loved the whole inventory system. First off, the way your minimap works and the way your health bar works, it is all different implants that you find throughout the map that you add to yourself. I'll throw it up on screen showing a little bit of that, but you can even turn it all off. So if you don't want your health and you only want the minimap, or you don't want the minimap and you only want your health and you don't want to see anything else but your health, you can turn on and off all of those different things, and I think that is a really cool feature. I don't know if that was in the original, but if it was, that is a really ingenuitive thing in my opinion. I don't know, it's such a small thing, and it's those small things that feel really big when you're playing a game because it's different than any other game has. So that small thing might be small, but it's different enough to feel big. And another thing with that is the inventory just felt smooth in the remake. They were able to do everything right in front of you. You don't need to pause your game to go to your inventory. You can even look around in your inventory. You can throw stuff out of your inventory. It's the common inventory, but they were able to do it really well, especially, as I keep saying, for a remake. They were able to transfer that over really well. With that too, the map, I like the map. The map is very easy to follow. It's not really confusing, and for a game where you have to constantly backtrack, they give you a good map to show you everything where you're at. It's very easy to understand, and in some games, it is not. It is not easy to understand, and System Shock did not make you suffer through that, especially for such a big game of going back, forth, here, there. I really just kind of liked everything about the game, to be honest. It felt great, it looked great, and this video is getting a little long, and I want to get to the connections this game has. Now, a lot of people like to ask, is this game connected to Bioshock? And a lot of people don't think so, and a lot of people think so. It's a big debate. Now, I can confirm to you guys that Bioshock is connected to System Shock, but not only that, System Shock is connected to a game called Gone Home. Now, I played this game a while ago, and I honestly don't remember that much about it, but I should return to it knowing now that it is connected to the System Shock and Bioshock games, so that's kind of cool. But one of the people who worked on all of those games did talk in an interview saying it is very vague, but there are certain connections to those three games being in the same universe, and it's very confusing. You know, I don't exactly know how they explain that, but I still just think it's cool to know that this game is connected to two other games I played. I mean, I will now say that Bioshock being connected, quote-unquote, to System Shock is what really got me excited. I love the Bioshock games, and I'm still working on a Bioshock video, so keep your eyes out for that, but I love the Bioshock games, and when I heard that System Shock, which already sounds super similar, is in fact connected, I was like, I need to play this. And there might not be any story connections or universe connections, but to know that the games were worked on by the same people, it makes me feel more confident in playing System Shock, and that confidence was not wasted because I did really enjoy and I really liked System Shock, and I think you guys will really like System Shock if you either like boomer shooters like Doom, Wolfenstein, Shadow Warrior, those kind of games. If you like horror games, because this game does have a few spots that are kind of creepy. If you like cyberpunk games, because this is a very cyberpunky game. And if you just in general like good games. This is a good game. If you don't want to spend $70 on the new Gollum that just came out, then don't. Get System Shock. It is $40. You could probably even find it cheaper on some gray market website. Not that I condone that, but I say go get this game. Go try it. If you can't, I say watch a video. Watch some videos on it because it is amazing. It is fun to even watch. And I think that if you like the games I've done videos on, you will also like this game. But this video is getting to be long enough. I just wanted to talk about a new game that I am absolutely in love with right now. And if you guys want to add anything, if you guys want to ask me any questions about System Shock, don't be afraid to throw that in the comments below. I really want to know what you guys think. If you have any suggestions, definitely throw that down below. If you enjoyed this video, you already know, go check out my channel, go check out everything else that I'm doing, and don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date on everything else. And if you heard any music, there's going to be some music coming in about 45 seconds, so if you want to wait after that, if you hear any music that you like, definitely check out billythewhip.com or just Billy the Whip on any music platform for some awesome new music. And as always, don't forget to hack into your space station to get transported to it and wake up to have a great day.
Always doing flips on the track in my spit. Said they wanted the smoke but then couldn't handle it. Haters just waiting till the whip up a quit, but the kids too, people just wait till he split. Billy the Whip got outlaw wit. Everything out his mouth gotta sound so slick, and it's making people sick cause it's so toxic. All the voices in my head sick of being gaslit.